Hello, welcome back. I want to share two last videos with you. This one is going to be a look through my album with some narration, and then I'm going to create my closing page. That's this first video. If hearing me talk about everything that's in here is not in your interest, then skip to the second video, which is just a flip through with no narration and just some music in the background, or you can turn that off. Okay, so here's what I chose to do to the cover of the album, which is really, really simple. I did think about spray painting this one white like I did a previous album that was literally this exact same book. But I thought, I've already done that once, why don't I do something else? And the other thing that I thought about doing was doing a very layered cover, which I've done a few times. And then I went back to look at all my layered covers. And this is the year that they have all really started to show their wear. Some of them have fallen off and needed a lot of repair work this year. I think because they are getting handled more and more each year, and more people looking at them, more places to take them to, more smaller hands allowed to look at them. All of those things are a factor, plus just things sticking after a while. All of those things together made me think, nope, simple is better this year. And I thought spraying the gold on was not scary, because I always knew that I could spray paint over the top and change it. So for right now, this is what it looks like. I'm going to live with it like this until next year. If I pull it out next year and go, ugh, why did I do that? Then there is absolutely nothing to stop me taking the numbers off or even leaving them on and spray painting the binder again, because all of the pages are in rings. I can take them out really easily. So don't be afraid if you want to try something and see how it works. So very, very simple, I'm afraid, but I'm okay with that right now. We'll see what I feel like next year. So here's where we started, back at the manifesto. And when I started my album, I was numbering everything quite rigidly. Did get this so that now I have the Lego. And the whole time I was planning on doing this one from the day one, which was a heart, and I can't find it anywhere. So I ended up going with this snowflake, which is a little bit thicker and bumpier. So far, so good. I can always take it out if it doesn't work. But one of the box, one of him holding one of the pieces. Added in this little story that I didn't tell anywhere else, which was just of an afternoon trip that I wanted to include. So literally just, there's no cover on this, that's the 4x6 photo. Covered the back with paper and just made sure this had enough adhesive that it's going to stick, and punched the hole straight on there. So this you've seen, calendar, and some cuteness. 4 photos all making one entry there. I do have a lot of slide in this album, and I may end up taping some of the pockets closed. I think it's because the prints from my 4x6 printer are actually slightly smaller than 4x6, and it's made everything a little bit looser in the pocket than it needs to be. But I do keep my albums upright, so I know that things aren't going to fall out when it's in storage, when it's on the shelf. It's only when it's out on my desk or out on a table. Some decorations. This was a bit that I added in. Again, this was a story that just didn't get told amongst the prompts or thoughts of the days, so I put that in here. This is also a funny little thing. So this is Christmas, and there's no journaling on it. There's no embellishment. I cut it one day thinking I was going to put it on something else. I didn't put it on anything else, and I thought it was pretty. And I just liked the idea of having something to break this up, and I hadn't used this Christmas jumper paper that I liked just as Christmas jumpers, so I just put it in. No rhyme or reason other than that. I just liked it, so in it went. These you've seen so far. This is that journaling through the senses. Try to include that somewhere in every album. Smaller page with another Instax. This one, remember, has this extra bit here. So I'm still doing numbers here, but I have skipped something along the way here, haven't I? 8, 9. That's 10. I haven't skipped anything yet. 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, I did add my picture here finally. My one frosty day. That was the only frost we got. We've had colder weather since. But during the Christmas season, that was it. 14. And then I kind of go off the numbering here a little bit. So I did add this entry for the 15th, but I didn't put a giant 15 on it or anything, and used this space to document us getting our tree finally. 16 has elf. 17, lots of photos. Those were the photos for Christmas card session, some with us and some from some friends, some clients. Father Christmas coming to school. This, once I'm done sharing this, I won't keep this here forever, but I could if I were worried. School play. Night out with the journaling here. Christmas books. Journaling there. Kept this cardboard just as it is and wrote a little note to explain it on the back about my friend having the best packing tape ever. Some notes about the Christmas tree now that it was all decorated. It takes me a few days to get the tree decorated. I like to let it, because we get a real tree, and I like to let it sit for a couple days and then decorate it. And it takes me a couple days until I'm really happy with the decorations. So that by the 22nd, I was really, really happy with it and enjoying it every night. Then this was all one night or one day out. So 4 photos and the journaling in the middle. The 2 parts to the day. A little bit of ephemera just stuck on there. I toyed with the idea of cutting out some snowflakes and putting it all over here, and it just felt too much. So a lot of this album is very, very simple, very photo-based, photos and words, and I really like that. It's okay with me. Little midterm or end of term show, performing arts school with the journaling here. A little note about Christmas soap and towels in the bathroom. It was just a little, snippet of Christmas life, and I wanted that in my album. So I'll put the caption down here to say yes, that I did buy Christmas scented Mickey soap when we were on holiday in October, so I could have my Christmas Mickey bathroom. And then this is a really a story where the photos are really quite, they're not great photos. There's nothing amazing about these pictures. But this is a story about a tradition that we do every year, and these are the photos from that day, and the story is really important to me. That's all there is to it. So it doesn't matter that the photos aren't great. It doesn't matter that the colors are garish. It doesn't matter that none of it matches. It's more than that. And sometimes that's what you need in a journal. So yeah, the journaling here is enough to send me back and make me realize why that's important. Added more baking photos than what I had the last time I showed you this, I think. Printed out some more of them, added in a smaller page here. Wrote right over the top of the one with the cookie dough there. And then one of us working together, one of just him, one of the finished cookies, and a little 3x4. We didn't bake gingerbread, we baked sugar cookies, but I think it's okay. And then this was just a little summary of the last few hours before bedtime on Christmas Eve. To all a good night. And then here's my divider for the 24th. The only elf picture I put in this year was the very last day. I was quite proud of. Journaling's over there. There's Santa's bin picture with everything under the tree, and this was everything inside the stocking. Super, super simple here. And part of that is because there's so much going on in these photos, and I don't want to take away from that. Yep, you can totally embellish loads more if you want, but you don't have to. No one is going to come to your house and look at your album and say, oh my goodness, there's no stickers on this page. If you were really sitting there going, there are no stickers on this page, then no, it's okay. But I don't think anyone who's not a scrapbooker has ever said, there are no stickers on that page. It's okay. So, different stories from Christmas. So, what's in the stocking? A story about this book and how this was a last-minute, very special request from Santa. And Santa knew. Story to go with this photo. The photo's not perfect. That's okay. It doesn't need to be. Living in your Christmas, you don't always get the most amazing photos. A photo to tell us what we had for breakfast. Last year, I took pictures of the table all set pretty. I didn't get that this year. I got the last waffle held in front of the tree. That's okay. It's absolutely fine. Still looks festive. Still tells the story of what happened. And then just some nice ones where I didn't add extra journaling to this because this journaling is kind of already in this story here. So that's okay. Oh, by the way, there's a few little older stickers added in here. They came from an old Love Elsie Christmas collection, and I wasn't planning to put them in this album. But one day, while I was working on this, I was also sorting out a box of old Christmas stash and sorting out what I would keep and what I would give away. And Wonder Boy found them and really took a liking to them. So I said we could put some of them in the book this year. And that made his day. So everybody wins. I still like them. They have been used now instead of just sitting in my stash. And he liked them too, and he was part of the process, and that makes me happy. A picture of us all in our Christmas pajamas. Just one that's blurry but makes me happy. No journaling needed there. Then, smaller page with more words. And you'll notice the numbers are gone now. So this is a 4, but that's because he is 4 years old here. It's not because it's day 4. So this is Boxing Day rather than a big 26 or anything. Yeah. There was a 25 back there. 25. Then I did this little insert with what I wore on Christmas Day and on Boxing Day. Just because I realized that's something that I really enjoy planning my Christmas outfits. So why don't I put them in my journal more? So I did that. This journaling explains these. There's not a lot of journaling here, and that's okay too. I mostly just wanted the pictures. And I don't need to say we made gingerbread houses. You can see we made gingerbread houses, and they colored together. This photo was just another from the Christmas card photo shoot, and I wanted to include it, but it didn't have a really obvious place. Here, I felt like it just served as a nice little divider to say, okay, now we're after Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and now we're moving on to that little later part of the season. I think that's okay. It doesn't need to be some sort of obvious big statement that now we're on to the next day. Something about my stocking, so I got makeup in my stocking and took a kind of before and after type picture. Little note about some life stuff here, things we did on the 29th, what we did on the 30th, had a lot of photos, so that has all this. And the 31st, so New Year's Eve, this is all one entry as well, with these photos in here, and the journaling there. And then here's my New Year's Day break. So photos and the divider. A few more things that happened after. I didn't end up wanting to add anything to this. I just left it. I love the pattern. I'm happy with it plain. Some photos with a little note. And then a bit more of a story behind this. This photo is also on a 12 by 12 page in my album in my normal album, my chronological album, with a slightly different angle on this because these aren't included, whereas this is all one event. This is what he wore to go see this robot. So in my 12 by 12 page, the journaling is all about the fact that he put this outfit together by himself and was very proud of it. But here it's about going to see this robot before it was leaving. This was the last day that it was there. And then this one has journaling about things getting back to their normal routine. And here's my 6 for the end. And this has a lot of photos. Going ice skating on the last day before school started again. Including a big photo. And then I had this photo of the two of us that I really love, so I wanted to include that as the last page. We didn't end up with anything like this with all 3 of us in this year. We had a few photos of the 3 of us, but we didn't love them. And we love this one. And it's okay. you know, because all three of us appear elsewhere in the book. It is fine. We do have this one of all three of us together. It's all right. Cut yourself some slack if you didn't get every single amazing photo that you wanted in one Christmas. That's absolutely okay. I really love this photo and I don't want it to be sad that it's just two of us and not three of us. It's okay. Right, so what I'm going to do lastly is to write a closing letter that's going to go right here inside the back cover, and then that will be my album done for 2018. Here's my paper from my journaling pad that I've used the whole time, just to give you an idea of how big it is. That's a little bit too big for what I want, and I want to include that torn edge detail that I've used throughout. So I'm going to start by just tearing one edge away. And I think I'm going to take just a little bit off the length as well, the height. Make it just a bit shorter so that way I can add some paper layers behind it. Now I want some wood grain and I want some red. I want to make sure that this adhesive really does hold, since it's not going in a page protector. So I will be using more glue than I tend to on the average project. Red on the wood grain. And then the journaling paper on top of that. I liked the idea of using a vellum, but that would not be great for my adhesive situation. I would need something where I could really keep that on. I could have stitched it if I wanted to do that before, but I think it's just a case of this is not the best place for vellum, so I'm going to use other things. Next thing up is just a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to use that great big Christmas stamp one more time. With my, I was going to go with red, but I've already got the red paper there, so I'm going to do it in green. It is a very olivey green. Don't worry, I didn't think it was going to be bright green. And then I'm going to do love in red. The dates. Then my journaling is going to go here before I add a little bit of embellishment to finish it. So here it is with my journaling, and it turned out I did need all of that space, so I haven't left any real room for more embellishment. That's okay. And what I am going to include is, of course, some gold. The inside here needs some gold to feel like it mixes with the rest of the album, I think. I'll have a look just in case there's any little sticker or anything left that might work. But I think I'm going to leave it just like this. I know then I don't have anything to worry about falling off. Nope, I I'm decided. That's exactly how it's going to stay. I know that when that one dries, you'll be able to read December through there too, so I'm not worried about that. That's it. I'm done. This is my journal all complete for this year. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, if it's your first year, you can come back as many years as you want. There is no extra fee. You can do a little bit this year, or maybe none this year, a little bit next year, a little bit the year after, or you can wait until you have a year that you feel like you just want to go full blast and do a whole book. You can do a whole book every year. There is no wrong way to do this project. And there are plenty of people who tell me every year that they just read the prompt every day to help put their mind in the right place, and they don't scrapbook anymore. And that is okay too. As much as I would love to have you back scrapbooking, I would always love everybody to be back scrapbooking. But with this project, if it's not this project that's the right thing for you, if you would rather just have something to think about every December, well, we're here. We're here. We're going to keep doing this. There's always a few changes every year, so I will talk to you again next Christmas season, and prompts will start on the 1st of December. And until then, I would love for you to stop by throughout the year. I teach different classes throughout the year. I don't just do this one at Christmas. So you can come check out anything like that at Shimelle.com, or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you search for Shimelle, you're probably going to find me. It's not a very common name. Thank you so, so very much for joining me, and I will see you soon, I hope. Have a wonderful rest of the year.